What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today is very exciting because we are doing a complete bow build on the brand new Helix from Hoyt. Got a Helix in, and I'm actually going to get it set up for Total Archery Challenge in Salt Lake this weekend, and today is Wednesday. So we're going to scramble and get it all together, get it set up, get a sight tape, do the full rundown of what I do. But before we get started, I'm going to do a small plug for my Patreon channel. And I mentioned Patreon before on this channel, but I really want to get this ramped up. So what I'm actually offering on my Patreon channel is a whole library of personal content that I upload just to Patreon. So anyone who signs up for Patreon's gonna get exclusive content on there, and that's anywhere from tutorial videos, behind the scenes stuff, and I even want to get into like really nitty gritty how I do some stuff and help out some people. So make sure to check out Patreon. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I hit it! No freaking way!
Alright, so we have a brand new Hoyt here in the box, and kind of, you know, different. When this showed up, it's a smaller box. Kind of threw me off, but they, for like the 30-inch axle bows, they have a smaller box. So let's get this open. Super important when you're cutting these boxes that you just don't like go crazy with it like I normally do with boxes, because there's like bow strings and stuff. Super cool new Hoyt hat. That's new for this year. Thought it was only fitting to get another black and yellow, or gray and yellow. This is actually like the slate color, but a black and yellow Be Real Helix. Because we had the Be Real RX1 last year, and it just was unfitting to not have another black and yellow bow. So we're gonna go step by step, like I said already. We're gonna get this thing set up for Total Archery Challenge, which is this weekend. So we're gonna literally have FMJs that are just cut. So we're gonna show you kind of how I fletch them and stuff. And go through the whole process of setting up this bad boy. Alright, so I have my RX1 right here. We're gonna kind of peel this one off to make my Helix now. So first thing we gotta do is take off the rest. It's the Trinity rest from Hamskea. So we gotta unscrew this. Then actually I did a different thing on the bottom with the cable, so we gotta get that undone. Which will take a second here, but we gotta throw it in the press to do that. Shout out to Last Chance, because all these tool things, if I didn't have them, I feel like I'd be scrambling all over the place for them. Like these little pick things. What I did, I forget, I think it was actually Dudley that showed me this on one of his posts, but you can actually like tie in your Hamskea, or any drop away at that matter, actually like to your axle, and it just is like super neat and clean. Then I can actually just go in and do the same exact thing to it. Alright, Hamskea rests off. And as you'll learn, I kind of do things unconventional and kind of my own way how I think about it. So if you don't agree with anything I do, they're just my opinions. So it's fair warning. Alright, that's off. What I also want to do is, mainly because I ran out of D-loop material, so I'm going to take the D-loop off of this one and throw it on my Helix. So I'll show you how to do that. It's actually like a good, if you're like in a scramble for like a D-loop or whatever, and you don't like have material, you can actually just take the one off of an original bow. So you kind of just, here Bryce, show this quick too. You kind of just can work that pick in there, loosen it up, and it comes right off. And if you have like the Last Chance kit, these picks that they come with, it's just important that you don't like damage it. But if you get it right in between the knots, there we go, just like that. So it's a little worn, but it's not bad at all. It's mainly just decolored. So what I'll do is I'll just freshen up those burn marks and throw it right back on. So there's D-loop. I'm literally tearing apart one bow to make another bow. Let's take off this peep sight, since we have the peep sight right here. So this is actually like super important you don't mess this up, because the peep sight is right around the string area. So when you cut this, you need to be super careful. So I always cut the knot, or however you have it tied in, but I just cut the knot, and then you can kind of work out of that, and then we can press the bow then. Pick it right out. And what's important is you put that piece of string or a string just to keep your initial string divided, especially if you have a single colored string like I do, because it's really, you can just count the strands or whatever to separate it, but you never find again like the true center. So that's everything off of this bow. So we'll set this to the side. And what I'll do real quick is I'll just bolt the rest on bolt the rest on the bow. Make sure it fits and everything, because sometimes when you get a new bow, sometimes the rest doesn't fit on it for whatever reason. But this looks like it'll be fine. Threads must have a little bit of paint in it. It's also common. Just make sure you don't strip it. And just a quick little tip, I guess, is setting this up. I always just get it lined up even with something that's parallel or flat on the riser. So like this little cut right here is flat, so I just line it up with that. Crank that down. Then Hamskea has this little set screw, which is important to use. I think it was already tight. Yeah, it was tight, so it tightened down as I tightened it, but that's important. Tighten that down just snug. I just have like one finger on there. So now that's on, or actually I already see an issue, so let's look at this. So when the Hamskea drops down, it's actually hitting the riser right there. So we need to back it out a little bit. We only have a little bit of room. So let's loosen it back up and see if we have enough room. I'm sure we will. But it's important that you pay attention to stuff like that when you're doing this. Okay. Let's check it now. Yeah, okay, so now see it drops all the way down flat. And we want, it's pretty tight. Can you see right in there, Bryce? There's a little bit of a gap. That might even be too tight for my liking, but we'll call it good. You always want a little gap from that like riser right there, because just the added vibration and stuff can like loosen stuff up. You never know. So let's tighten this back down, little set screw guy. I feel like I am gonna tie it in because there's a pretty big space. This space right in there, we're just gonna tie it in the drop away rather than tying it on the limb, just because it's a little cleaner. So let's go ahead and do that real quick too. The new Hamskea rest, if you have one of the older versions and got super annoyed with that little tiny ball when you loosen it and it like falls all over the place, they fixed that problem with this new slider thing. It's dope. All you have to do is take the little rubber band off and slide it up and down. Alright, so we'll just wrap it around. How's lighting? Is lighting good, or does it need to be brighter?
Should be fine.
Should be fine, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll just actually, so I just do like normal knots when I do this. Just do one normal knot. Okay, so we'll grab pliers now, and what I like to do, because it's hard to get a good hold on that, so I'll take that and just kind of tighten it down nice and good. Then I'll go in there with my handy dandy knife. Make sure I don't cut the bowstrings. I'll just cut the little bit of slack. Rough it up, because technically I think this is Delu material, or it's a skinnier version of the Delu material. You take lighter, I'll just burn down, makes it look nice, make sure it doesn't fall apart, just burn that down. Kind of like you just do with the D-loop. So now you have a nice, neat little tree painting. Just kidding. Nice, neat little knot line right there. So now we just tighten up this hamski rope, gets the rest tight. Actually, gotta do it tighter. You just roll, maybe roll that off, tighten that down. That's nice and tight, and then that's just like a safety little rubber thing. Oh, dang it. Safety little rubber thing on there. Just roll that like that. And the cool thing, I'm talking about hamski a lot right now. I don't know why, but it's just what we're doing right now. But I was very skeptical about this at first. I was like, I don't like that because that's like another thing to break when you're hunting or whatever. Like you're way out in the woods on like an adventure hunt or something, and let's say this gets bumped or gets broken. Well, one cool thing, if this gets bumped, all you have to do is pull it back down and tighten it, and nothing's changed. So if you just bumps, get slid up, you slide it back down. And then if, let's say, it gets broken, well, it's always good just to keep a spare rope. And as long as this thing's tight, it's shooting. Like, you technically don't even need the spring. The spring's just there for, like, extra shock absorption. So if everything broke and you just have a piece of string, you could even do it with a shoelace. You just tighten it all back down and you're good to go. So that kind of made me feel better about shooting like a drop weight rope like this. Alright, so that's in. Now what we'll do is find where our tie in marks are and stuff and kind of walk through how I get that going.
Alright, we are good.
Next, what we got to do is find our knock anchor point thing where we put the D-loop. So how we're going to do that is a good starting point is to find where like the burger hole is. Hoyt makes it kind of difficult because they have this rubber plate, which it's great they have a rubber plate because it makes the whole shelf silent. But you can kind of like feel exactly where it is, and it actually runs right through that line right there. So what we're going to do is I just like to eyeball it, kind of where straight is, if that makes sense. Alright, just put my fingernail right there. And then I'll just make a little scuff mark because it's a brand new serving and every little scuff mark shows up. So now we'll go in and we'll tie, I'll show you kind of how I like to just tie in a little knocking point. Super cool feature about this press is you can do this and spin it, and then we can work on it with the bow like this, which is really awesome. Serving type material. There we go. You can see my little mark right there that I made with my fingernail. And what I do is I only tie in one below the knock in the D-loop. So what I'll do is I'll tie a normal knot, just like that, and then I'll come around on the back side, do another normal knot, and I'll rest it right next to it on the underside. Tighten it down, and then I'll just do that for like 3 or 4 knots, depending on the size that you want. Underneath, go back here. Do it again. So I'll just do 3 knots. You can see they're just stacking right next to one another. Come in on the back side. Actually, let's flip the bow now. So I just did it. And what I'm doing is I do the last knot as a square knot. So it tightens down next to it just like that. So you can see they're all stacked right next to each other right there. So come in here. There we go. Take our lighter. And then we just burn those down a little bit. Don't want to go crazy. Like that one caught on fire. You don't want to go crazy with it. Now I like to do that on the back side. Like the string sits like this on the back side, and sure, like when you twist it up and you put the peep in and stuff, that can change. But putting it on the back side, it just helps with like face contact and just looks like it's on the side that you don't see. So put that back. So now what we'll do is we will flatten this back out. Square tools. Take an arrow, knock it. We'll clip this on the string right there. It's important when you clip this on, you don't clip it like half of it on the serving and half it on the string, but that you get it on there both. So what we'll do is we'll just bump this press until it's flat. It's about right there. Arrow, dealio. Take the hamski, loosen it up like that so the rest is standing full up like that. So we'll drop it down. Okay, so it's pretty knock high right now actually. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna get it, and this really you could fix it with paper tuning and stuff, but we can get it close. So we'll go ahead, bump the rest up a little bit. Alright, so that's pretty dang close. It's a little knock high, but we can see how it paper tunes and stuff. It's probably going to be a little high tear, but we'll figure that out later. So now what we'll do is we'll tie in our peep, or tie in our D-loop, and then tie in our peep. No, actually what we should do is we should tie in our peep first, because when you put in the peep, it separates the string and it can cause it to twist a little bit. So we'll put our peep in first, and then we'll put on our D-loop so that it can be straight. And they always, I already mentioned this little divider thing, but Hoyt sends them from factory with that little divider thing in them, so you know exactly where to put your peep sight and stuff. So we'll just take that out, but I'll actually shove it back in and stick it up in there higher. Find again where it's separated. I use a Hamski Raptor peep, which is really cool because it has different string angles they can put it in. Oh, that's in backwards. It's always a mind game to me which way. There we go. Put some tension on the string right in there, and what we can actually do, it's like this is my RX3, what we can do is just kind of line it up like that to get it close. So like right there is right about what we want. Yeah, and the peep's like dead wrong. So we'll flip it around. Alright, so it's not bad. So what we'll do now, we'll tie in the D-loop, and we'll fix that in a minute. Old D-loop material. Again, don't make fun of me for doing that, but I just ran out of D-loop material. So I'm just going to burn the ends again a little bit. You don't really want to catch them on fire. You just want to burn them to get that ball going. Because I've heard if you catch them on fire, it just makes the material like really weak by making it 100% liquid. Don't know if that's true. Oh, yeah, it caught on fire. So there we go. Not too shabby. Alright, this is always mind game to me too, how we do this. For some reason I can never get it figured out like the first try. So, up and in. Alright, there we go. Actually, I want that ball to be a little bit bigger. So let me grab the lighter. We go in, down, up, no, hold on, no, other side. It's important, or it's not really super important, but what I like to do is put the little burnt ends on opposite sides, just so it kind of like evens out. I actually don't know if that's like a thing, but I think it's a thing. Where do my pliers go? Oh, right here. Okay. So now I'll just put a little bit of tension. Looks good. Do a little bit more attention. Then we'll check our knock fit. And I like to have quite a bit of knock, like slop, I guess you could say, but that's a little too much. Okay, so that's just about what I want. Just a little bit of slop in there, because when you pull back, it's gonna pinch it just a touch. And if you're running like a torqueless D-loop or something where everything's on the bottom, you want more slop than that. You don't want the knock to be pinched, because what can happen is it can like pinch up, like it can actually like move the arrow around when you're at full draw. So just a little bit of slop. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Just a little bit. Peep sight rotation. I know it's going to be crooked, but sometimes when you pull it back, things change. Let's pound specs real quick, I guess, for this bow. We're shooting, I'll probably crank it down to like 77 pounds, but it's 80-pound bow, just because we'll be shooting a lot of arrows, Total Arch Challenge, like walking around and stuff. So 75, 76, 77, we'll see what we end up with. Actually, I should probably do that in here in a second, but so you can see that the peep's like totally crooked. So we'll come in here, we'll twist it up and get that fixed real quick. And it's simple if you think about it, but the top cam adjustment for this string, if you twist the top, it's going to affect it more than twisting the bottom because it's farther away and there's strands and servings and stuff. So I'm just going to put probably 1/2 turn in the top to get it rotated like that. And it's important when you press a bow at any time, especially when you get the string super loose, just make sure everything's back on track. First, what we should do though is we should tie in this peep just around quick, and then I'll shoot it a few times. Sometimes when you shoot it a few times, it like settles in a little bit. So let's do that real quick. So for this, it's really important. I actually just saw T-Bone make a post the other day, but it's really important you tie this in, because even if you tie up and down, only this piece of string really keeps your peep sight in from flying out and hitting you in the eye, which is like an actual thing. So I'm just doing normal overhand knots there. And then on the bottom side, 1 normal overhand knot. Then I'll do a square knot to cinch it down. Knife. Some people don't burn them. I burn them just because I don't want them moving. But you need to be careful of your strings when you do this. So let's shoot the thing, see what peep sight is on my face and stuff, and let's go from there. Yep. Actually, it didn't come back that bad. First shot out of it. Let's take these tags out. I always like to keep those on as long as possible. There was some rotation because the D-loop brought it around, so it might be pretty decent. It's pretty smooth for 80 pounds, actually. What was that? That's just a random black piece. Not bad. It's just sinking through that target. Alright, so I guess our next steps is then, I'm going to actually bump it down just a touch. Put on the sight. Alright, now let's grab the sight from my Arch 3. Same sight I've been rocking. Excel AccuTouch. It's just a really good sight. I mean, it really, very few issues I've ever ran across with it, if any. I've been shooting it for like 5 years now. I think this is only the second one I've had, and I only upgraded because they came out with this different bar. Throw that on, that looks pretty hot on there. That looks dope. I just did the unboxing for the new Atlas, if you saw that, so we'll throw on this Atlas system on the bottom here. If it fits. Oh yeah, it fits. That is tight though, how they did that. Like, I can't even get an Allen wrench in there. Make sure that's super tight in there. There we go. Alright, now it looks good. So I actually have some new Raid bars, which the same ones I've been shooting, but I just got a new set for this bow so I can keep like both of them set up. So I shoot I think this is a 12 12, I want to say. 12-inch bar in the front. Then I want to say a 7 in the back. People always ask, I always have to double check. I don't think it says it on the packaging. Yeah, 7-inch raid. 7-inch raid, 12-inch raid. So that's what I do, 7 and 12. Seems to work good. I like it. Keep dropping on. Okay, and then I like to do a, I forget what degree, 8 degree. Sorry. 8 degree down in the front. Let's throw that on real quick. People ask why I like the 8 degree down. 1, feels good. 2, I think it looks doper, more dope. And you just got to make sure it's lined up straight. Pretty good. Then quick disconnect. Another quick disconnect. Throw this in there. That's actually the wrong quick disconnect. Found the correct one. I had a 8 degree down. The 8 degree down quick disconnects are a little different. Throw this in there. And it's angled up. So let's change that. I have to have it angled down a little bit. So all we gotta do is loosen this top one. If you haven't seen the unboxing on this and have more questions, just watch that video because I answer all these questions. Tighten that down. That's looking dope. Look how dope that looks. It's really starting to come together. So what I want to do now is I'll throw some weight on. Dude, look how long this rod is. I didn't realize that. Holy cow. That's all the way in there. I like to have a little bit more weight, like front. I feel like I'm a hunting bow. Untwist again for 5 minutes. I didn't realize how long those were. Throw all these guys on. This one's shorter. I don't know why that long one was so, the back one was so long. Alright, so you can just like loosen this emblem and actually get more screw space. There we go. That looks pretty awesome. So one thing I totally forgot we can put on this bow is a B-rail grip. So these are pretty easy. I forget if I can. Definitely can't pop it off like that. So take a little pick or something. Go up under the grip. And all that's under there is like two-sided tape like that. So I just pop it off. And what we recommend is just take off that two-sided tape, and if we need to put some tape on it, we have some different type of tape, but take the grip, slides right in. That's awesome. I totally forgot that we could put that in there because I've been shooting the RX3 and don't realize that the Helix can fit in there. So now that looks pretty dope. There we go. Alright, so we're right at 80. 80.44. Now I'm going to turn it down. We'll see what one turn is, just because I'm going to be shooting it quite a bit. And just see how that feels and how that shoots. So actually we should do this for a tip. I'm sure everyone knows it already, but take a silver Sharpie and you just put a line on your limb bolts, so that you can see that they're lined up when you do turns and rotations. Just so you don't accidentally like veer off a little bit, because that can change a few things. So we'll just do one turn. So what's that now? Alright, so that's at 75. So that's probably good. We'll probably roll with that. Now though, it feels a little long. Like I shot it a couple more times. We ate lunch. Shot a couple more times. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, and I think we'll probably, especially with changing my poundage just there. Changing the poundage, if you turn it out, it actually makes your poundage a little bit longer. So I probably just made it even more longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and change it, and I'll show you how we do that. But I got to find my torque wrenches because I don't know where those are. To loosen these up, and Hoyt has a pretty cool design. You just kind of loosen these two little peg mechanism right in here. And we'll get a close of that after, I guess. That peg like comes out, and you line it up in the correct one that you want, and it like 100% you're in the right one. Because sometimes you can be like in the slop a little bit because there's different rivets right inside here. So you actually like pop it out, slide it other way. You want to go shorter. And then you just tighten it right back down. So, alright. Another thing, we got to make sure we move this cable stop. Because if you just move the mods, don't move the cable stop, it's going to jack it all up. D. Yeah, we want to be in D. Alright, so now we'll check and see how it feels. Then we'll probably double check timing as well. Oh yeah, that's better. Peep actually feels kind of high. A good tip with peep sights is getting it together, or like figuring out where it is you pull back with your eyes closed, you anchor where it's comfortable, and then you open. And then typically, if it's wrong, the peep sight is going to be high or low to your normal vision towards the sight. So then you can change it accordingly. So yeah, it's just a touch high. And a little too much. It should be pretty decent. But now my peep sight is crooked because when you move it up and down it changes. But that's pretty decent. So let's go ahead. We'll fix the peep sight, check the timing, make sure it's good, and we'll shoot it through paper. Finally shoot it through paper, and then we'll be pretty dang straight. Alright, we're going to shoot it through paper. I don't know how this is going to be. This might be rough, but we'll see. Not bad. So we're just a little bit to the right, which isn't bad. See how the fletchings are to the right for the points on the left? So we're going to move it to the left? The right. We'll double check. Yeah, I think it's to the left. So we got a little bit more. That's a little high. Hope we don't have to go on a wild goose chase here. High right again. Alright, 4 times the charm. Alright, we're going to need to figure out why we have such a weird tear right here. Rolling. Alright, so we just spent like 10 minutes. We had to do So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shots in paper. 10 shots to a bullet hole, pretty much, which really isn't that bad. But what was going on is there was some sort of little cam lean. So we had to twist up the right side 1.5 turns and take out 1.5 turns on the left. And that essentially made the cam go like this. And by changing the cam lean and stuff, essentially you're changing like the whole string position a little bit. So it just kind of like, you can mess with that to help get a bullet hole or your tune or whatever. So we're going to shoot it one more time, double check that there's actually still a bullet hole from 5 seconds ago, but we're going to. So actually there still is a little left. This was the one we shot before. That is that one, or a little right, sorry. But it's way better. We were moving them all around and we were getting a little bit of stuff. Let me shoot that one more time, because sometimes paper tuning is very sensitive. If you're face pressure or whatever, it can like really mess up your paper tune. So let me do this shot with like 0 face pressure or anything. Let's see what we got. Alright, it's still a little bit. I backed up farther that time. So let's go ahead. Let's put in another... Let's put in one more half twist in each.
Let's show it to
What's that?
Let's show it since we did it the first time.
Okay.
This needs to be longer.
Your arm? Or my video?
No,
the video is turning out to be super long. Alright, so we're going to put a half in, so twisting up the string more, making it tighter, shorter, taking half out. Yeah, at least it was a bullseye in the turn. It's looking pretty good. It's actually just a tad high more than anything. So what we're actually going to do, I'm going to bump... No, it's a tad low. So I'm going to bump the rest down a little bit. That's fletching's low. Low left, just a tad. So let's bump it down a little bit. Shoot one more time. I'm going to call it good. And we'll see how it shoots, because really all that matters is how it shoots. That's looking pretty good. Alright, now we're almost complete opposite. Sorry. Now we're almost complete opposite a little bit. This was our previous one. This is our next one. So this one's high right. This one's low left. So I moved it too much. Oh, that's pretty good. This one is just a touch high, if anything, but high's actually not terrible, not that bad. Actually, like if you shoot like a blade or a target setup, high actually lets it come off the rest a little better. We're gonna call that good. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot and see like some sort of group tuning. If I'm grouping really good, if I know like the bow is supposed to be shooting this good, I kind of like, if you shoot enough and you know you're more accurate longer distances, whatever, you kind of know like what you should be shooting. So let's see how that's going, then we'll go from there. At 70 yards now, we just had to walk back just to make sure we're like hitting correctly. I did 20 and 40 and now we're back at 70-ish, so this one should be decently close to the middle. They're flying good. I can see that they're tracking good. Oh yeah, those are right next to it. That one went pretty much right where I was aiming. So far, it's doing pretty dang good. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Okay, so this was my first shot, and then I moved my sight, and these were my last 3. And I knew this one actually did kind of break left, even though I hit it. So I think my sight's still a little bit to the right. So I'm gonna give it a couple clicks. We're gonna shoot again, get one last group. And then what we'll do, kind of like a simplified walk back tune, is if you're sighted in far or sighted in close, you then drastically move up. So I'll move my sight to 20, really doesn't matter. But then I'll aim on this line, and if I'm right on, left and right on that line, then my walk back will be correct. But if not, then we'll move my rest just a touch for that. But pretty good group so far. I mean, they're going where I'm aiming, pretty much, other than off to the right, and they're tracking good. Like, one thing is just like, especially with a lighted knock like that, you can just watch it like beam line all the way down there. So far so good. Yeah, that was good. Alright, so I'm super happy with this group actually. So when they broke right on it and I was on it, they hit. That's 70 yards. And I have 3 arrows like in a size of a group like that. This one probably was just me off it a little bit. So very killer performance out of this. So now I'm just gonna shoot one at 20. Make sure, you know, like I said, my walk back tune's good, but and I'm really happy with this bow. We're going to get a sight tape for it, and it'll be ready to rock for Total Archery Challenge. My third axis is already on because that sight's already on, but we'll double check that on the bow too. But other than that, we're looking really good. Alright, so they're not bad. They are a little bit to the left. So what you can do is you can bump your rest to the right just a tad, because if I was sighted in 100% here at 20 and then I backed up to 70, they'd be to the right a little bit. So then you move your rest to the left. I forget what I said. One way or another, you move your rest. I'm tired. It's been a long day, but we are going to tweak this a little bit. But overall, that's a wrap. How I set up my bows, pretty much hunting bows at least, start to finish, get them rocking. And sure, like broadheads and stuff, we dive into like a whole nother thing with that and what I do to make sure my broadheads are good. What's that? Oh yeah, make sure to check out my Patreon. I'm planning on doing more type videos like this, and there's already a bunch in there already. So make sure to check out Patreon, be a supporter, and then that allows you to have like these type of tutorial vids and more vids in general and behind the scenes stuff. So make sure to check that out. Make sure to check out B-Roll merch. Thank you for watching. If you watch this entire video, you are one of my best friends ever. See you next time.
I belong to you. I belong to you. Do just what you want.